what's up, everybody? It's the Fake Jake here, bringing you another episode of the Four Corners Podcast, here with my co-host, Clam79.
Hey, climb it up.
Yep, so hopefully we can once again wrap up all these nice topics in a clamshell nicely for you. Stole your joke again. Yep, you're not getting me back for that one. Sorry. Alright, so one thing I just want to go ahead and mention quickly at the start here is that we have these podcasts now available on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, and we're going to be having them available on more platforms as we go further and further through this. And we're going to continue to upload the podcasts on YouTube later in the week as per normal. And we actually have a small little wrestling blurb here to begin our podcast, and I'm going to give Clam the floor on that one. Take it away.
Sure. This weekend we had a lot of great wrestling going on with the Ring of Honor show on Friday and then the New Japan show on Sunday. Most of my focus is going to be on the New Japan show. I want to give congratulations to Cody, Don't Call Me Rhodes, for winning the IWGP US Heavyweight Title from Juice Robinson. So now Cody is a dual title holder. He holds the IWGP US Heavyweight Title, and he also holds the NWA Heavyweight Title.
And isn't he actually going to be having a rematch against Nick Aldis for Ring of Honor?
Coming up in October, I believe it's October 14th in Tennessee. NWA 70th anniversary show is going to be the rematch of Cody and Nick Aldis, a 2 out of 3 falls match. This Friday on King of Pro Wrestling card, which is a New Japan show, there's going to be a triple threat for the IWGP Heavyweight Title that's currently held by Kenny Omega. We're going to have Kota, Ibushi, Kenny Omega, and Cody in a triple threat. So this was built at the end of the card last night on the New Japan card. So it was kind of neat watching that being set up. And also then today being the Elite return to YouTube. So it was a big weekend for the Bullet Club there. So nice little blurb there that we got the NWA 70th anniversary show coming up. We got this King of Pro Wrestling card coming up next weekend. Great time to be a fan, especially of independent wrestling. And it's even a great time to be a fan of the Bullet Club. Had a little bit of a warring faction this weekend. The Young Bucks did lose their titles over to the Guerrillas of Destiny, which are the Bullet Club OGs. So it's kind of hard seeing that, friction there, but it was still a great match to watch.
And I honestly want to go ahead and throw one last thing in here. I am actually really excited to see the match between Cody and Aldis, the Three Falls match, because they had one of the most intense matches I think I've ever seen at All In. And it's not so much that, that sole match was, just the prime focus of it, just that whole show in and of itself. But I think just the pure intensity of that match alone and just everything that happened between Cody and Aldis alone, and then all the outside factors that happened, like the factor of Cody's wife. I know that he didn't take kindly to that one. And then they were just literally beating the tar out of each other the entire time, and it was brutal. Anyone who was at All In, they know what it was like. So I'm curious to see how Aldis is going to approach this now that he has to try to win his title back.
That's right. So we're jumping in right off of wrestling. We're going to springboard right into our first of our Four Corners topics. With Four Corners, we talk about comics, video games, TV shows, and movies, and usually it's all comics-based with a little bit of wrestling tossed in there. This week in our comics section, we are focusing on the new title called Heroes in Crisis. Hey, guess what? There's another Crisis title. Everybody know what that means? That's right, another dead Flash.
Who's dead this time?
It's really hard to look at some of these. Like it's a bad joke, but it's a true joke. Every time a Crisis title comes around, another Flash dies.
Crisis
and I hate to say this. This was actually Wally West. It was really like, whoa.
Yeah, that was hard. I agree.
The Heroes in Crisis book itself is really revolutionary because they're dealing with items you never thought they would deal about in comics. The other Crisis titles, the Infinite Crisis, the Crisis on Infinite Earths,
Final Crisis.
Exactly. These were all like cosmic events that affected the entire universe. There was Identity Crisis, which was a smaller one. which was more localized. This one, this Heroes in Crisis, seems like it's going to be more localized. Essentially, what has happened is Superman has created this place called Sanctuary, and he's using these Kryptonian robots that have attributes of himself, Batman, Wonder Woman, to help heroes who are struggling from PTSD, from post-traumatic stress syndrome. They realize that these heroes have, experienced a lot of things, just like our soldiers do today, just like our veterans. So it's very real world anchored, with some of the issues that they're going through here. But in this very first issue, we come across Sanctuary, and there are dead heroes everywhere. There's a lantern dead. They don't even name which one of the lanterns it is. There's this Blue Jay guy who does some shrinking and gets wings when he shrinks, and he dies as well. Of course, the two big ones are Flash and Arsenal. And going throughout the book, there's these little recaps where it shows them like being recorded by the Sanctuary Kryptonian, where it's kind of like an interview where they say, what they're in there for, what issue that they're having. So this is kind of filtered in throughout the book. And the book itself actually focuses on Booster Gold and Harley Quinn. So looks like they're the two people that are the suspects, but it also looks like they're probably going to be the main focus of this story. So it's kind of cool because these are both two people that always seem to mess things up. So it's kind of a way to, give them a little bit of a different focus. Booster Gold's got, every once in a while he gets brought in. Harley's had a lot of attention on her, but this is in a different light here. So definitely go out of your way to read the book. It's different. It's not what you're expecting. And plus, at the end of the book, we've got a little lead in to the new story that's going to be coming up with the new Green Lantern. So it's a great read. I do highly recommend it. It's very relevant to today's world, especially dealing with PTSD. If anyone that knows a veteran or, even knows maybe a police officer or someone that has experienced, traumatic situations, what they're going through. And just if that can help bring some awareness, if we can teach people what's going on with other people through a comic book, then why not? It's a great medium. It's a great way for us to learn, and it's a great way to tell a story.
Exactly. And I love when comics do that, when they relate these real world, problems that people go through every day. They tell it in their own way while still having the realism present. And that's what I like about a lot of comics nowadays. And one thing that this book in particular reminded me of, you brought up earlier how Superman created this, sanctuary for these heroes with these, robot versions, or, these Kryptonian robots with, to act like him, Batman and Wonder Woman. What that kind of reminded me of, actually, mixing universes a little bit here, but that reminded me a little bit of Genosha and Magneto with the protection that he made there for all of the various mutants that didn't have, an Xavier Institute or a Morlock sewer or anything like that to go to. And that was kind of their sense of protection. But like the Sanctuary, it got attacked several times, actually, and a lot of mutants did end up getting killed because of that.
That's a very good point. Genosha should have been called Target.
Pretty much.
It was a great idea, but every time it got mentioned, it meant there was a lot of people dying or there was a war there. So, yeah, I completely understand that.
Every time that Charles said, oh, no, we have to go to Genosha, you almost knew in your head, oh, who's going to die now?
Exactly. So, but it's a great book. Pick it up and read it. It's new on the shelves right now. It's still only on issue 1, so it's a good starting off point. And plus, it's a crisis title, so it's going to cover a lot of the books and delve into a lot of the universe. So it's a great title to really get into. Yes, a dead Flash, a dead Arsenal. Maybe we'll find out what's going on. Who knows? It's DC. They don't stay dead long enough for it to count, really.
Does anyone in comic book movies nowadays?
Yeah.
Or books?
We used to be able to say only Bucky, but guess what? He came back too.
Yep. Yeah, we won't get into your dislike for Winter Soldier. We'll save that for another day.
Exactly. But while we're on the topic of DC, we're moving over into our TV show section. Titans just dropped a new trailer today. Would you like to go into this? Give us a little bit of a recap of what this trailer was, Jake?
I'm sorry. Did you say Titans? All I see is a cop, 2 emos, and a street hooker. So yeah, sorry. It's just a little joke that we had going before the podcast. Titans. I've got really mixed opinions on it because from what I've seen, most of the action scenes look really good. The story does look interesting. How you have Dick Grayson, trying to still be, the good cop, but trying to get out of Batman's shadow at the same time, trying to help, Raven go through a lot of, troubles that you see her going through in the trailer. Now, Robin, as well as Hawk and Dove, from what we've seen so far, look really great. I'm loving the way that they look, and the actor that they got for Dick Grayson, I think, plays him very well from the little bits that I've seen. Beast Boy looks better than what we originally saw. Originally, it looked like just a green human body with CGI on the face, and now he actually looks like a creature. So I'm glad that they changed that a little bit. Raven, looks decent. She's got the emo personality. She's got the purple hair. The timidness. That's how Raven acts. Now, the one thing that
Raven was a standout for me in the trailer. Seeing Raven and seeing how she responded, just seeing what they could do with Raven was really exciting. I really like seeing that in the trailer, but you're about to get to the rough point. So go ahead.
Yeah, rough point. So one character that we both had major issues with is Starfire, and it's sad because the original response that the Titans trailer got was very divisive. People either liked it or hated it. And a lot of that had to do with the very poor CGI and effects on the characters. And for mostly everyone, it was fixed with this trailer that dropped today. Except for Starfire. She still has the pink hair, street corner look, and it's not what Starfire is supposed to be. I mean, you have these digital effects for a reason, and the least you could do is give her orange hair. I mean, if you're gonna make a Titans show to try to make them look like the Titans, and you're only gonna do it halfway, then I don't see the point of including it.
Yeah, the Starfire's character in the trailer was really hard because it felt like she was put in to be the token diversity character, and that was really hard to even just say that. Starfire is orange. She's an alien, and she talks completely like an alien.
Like
the character that they're portraying is not like that. I have no problem with her being a person of color. Actually, hey, she's supposed to be orange. What happened to like Star Trek and green chicks? Sorry,
exactly.
Anybody, I didn't mean to offend anybody there, but hey, that was the perfect opportunity. You've got a true person who's an alien. So, and one of the things that screamed out to me as I'm watching this trailer is, hey, where is Victor? And of course, he's with the Justice League, so they can't wrangle him in.
Nope, and that's one of the things too that a lot of people were kind of disappointed by was the fact that Victor Stone can't be in here. Although apparently there is apparently Titans are able to show some characters at the same time as shows in the Arrowverse, which is going to segue into our next topic here in a minute.
It is, but DC was smart, much smarter than Marvel. They didn't sell their rights away many years ago. They didn't sell away Spider-Man. They didn't sell away Fantastic Four and not be able to control how they used them later on. DC was very smart. They own all their rights, so anytime they want to allow them to be part of a show, they can allow that. You just have to get the privilege from DC. I wanted to recap with Starfire before we jumped over into the TV show. I think if she would have talked like Starfire, then I don't think anybody would have had such a problem with it, regardless of whether she's orange, black, green, whatever color you want to have her. But that's not the Starfire character they're portraying. Starfire was completely awkward. She was so alien to this planet that that was one of the things that was great about her. Just
It was like a
hearing
fish out of water aspect.
exactly hearing some of the weird stuff she would just say because she wasn't used to being human. So that was one of the things I think that's really missing from that character. I think they're trying to make her a hard like character, somebody that's just not what that character is supposed to be. And I can rant all day long about that, but we do need to move over. Man, it seems like today is a very DC heavy episode as we're
Yes, it
moving
is.
into our TV shows. Or, excuse me,
Now,
we're already in the TV show, but we have another
um,
topic here.
yes. One last thing that I just kind of wanted to say to kind of tie the two together. Like I was saying earlier, there are apparently some characters that can be used at the same time as Titans and Arrowverse shows. One of those is actually Roy Harper, because he's actually rumored to appear on this as well, and he is a heavy Titans character. He's been interacted with them several times, so I'm curious to see how that and Arrow are going to play off at the same time. But talking of Arrow and the CW shows, let's move into the Arrowverse crossover for December of 2018, which has recently been titled Elseworlds, which is the famous DC comic run. Now, I'm there are a lot of things that get me excited about this, but also a lot of things that get me skeptical. One of the first things that gets me skeptical right away that I noticed way back when the crossover was even announced was the fact that Legends of Tomorrow is actually absent from this crossover, and it is solely Green Arrow, Flash, and Supergirl. And this is actually going to be where Batwoman, who's being played by Ruby Rose, is going to make her debut, which will eventually go off into her own solo show, which we've talked about that a little bit. We're looking forward to that to see what that's going to be, but this is more so of where she's going to start and just this crossover event as a whole. And it's got a lot of good things going for it already. You have Tyler Hoechlin, who's coming back as Superman for this crossover and is actually going to be making multiple appearances in Supergirl Season 4. So that I am looking forward to. And with the recent, supposed exit of Henry Cavill as Superman in the DC Extended Universe, which I don't know if that's going to be the DC Extended Universe much longer, but get to that another day. Tyler Hoechlin is coming back as I think, regular for Supergirl. I know he's going to be appearing quite frequently throughout the season, so I am excited to see that. I did enjoy his performance as Superman, and speaking on Superman in general, this crossover is actually going to introduce, I'm probably going to butcher this actress's name, Elizabeth Tulloch as Lois Lane, and I'm really curious to see that because anyone who knows Superman should know Lois Lane too, because that's such a big character to do. And they've had, just like they've had a lot of people connected to Lex Luthor, they've had a lot of people connected to Lois Lane as well. So I'm curious to see what they're going to do with her character and how she's going to play off of Tyler Hoechlin's Superman. And one of the things recently, well, not recently, this was a couple weeks ago when it was announced, but that's been getting a lot of negative response for whatever reason, is the fact that Cassandra Jean Amell, who is the wife of Stephen Amell, Oliver Queen, Green Arrow, is actually going to be playing Nora Freeze in this crossover, which I have nothing against. I don't see any problem with it. She has been in TV shows before, so she has acting experience, and honestly, I don't see the problem with her being in here. I honestly think that it's kind of cool that you have a personal relation with somebody in these shows, just like how Stephen Amell and Robbie Amell, who played the first version of Firestorm, they got to do one episode of The Flash together, and that was it. So maybe Stephen and Jean will actually get a little bit more to do this time around. Clam, I know you had some things to say about the main villain of the crossover. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Sure. The main villain is played by Jeremy Davies. People will recognize him from Lost, Justified. He was also the main bad guy in the last season of Sleepy Hollow. So that was probably what he was in more recently. And right now we're not sure if he's a original character or if maybe he's going to possibly be like a Hugo Strange type of character, or if he's going to be possibly a secret identity of Dr. Destiny. So it's going to be interesting to see what role he is going to play as the main villain here. And along with the main villain, we have someone that I never thought I'd see in this show. We're going to have LaMonica Garrett is going to play the Monitor. And the Monitor it's really strange trying to figure out how he is going to be brought into this universe. Because he's more of a universal character. If the Monitor's here, something cosmic is happening, like Dark Side level, or something big is happening. So it's kind of interesting that he's being brought in. I don't know if he is going to be as much of an emphasis on this crossover, or if he's going to be a possible lead in to a future one. So it's kind of weird seeing the Monitor being brought in, but listening to all these people we just listed off also makes me think, this is probably why Legends aren't here. Because we've already got our three main characters of the Arrow, the Flash, and Supergirl. Now we're bringing in, we've got Superman, we've got Lois Lane, we're introducing a new character who's going to be a regular with Batwoman. And we're also bringing in a new bad guy, and we're having Nora Freeze, and bringing in the Monitor. We're introducing a lot of people in 3 episodes. So this could be why the Legends weren't included in this episode, or it could be some other reason. I'm not really sure there. But
it was a little bit of hard work last time for them when they filmed the Crisis on Earth X crossover, because there were some new characters introduced there. Well, I would put an asterisk on new because it was just the the doppelgangers of certain characters. But if you look at those 4 episodes of that crossover, there was a lot of characters in that. So I think because they're really jamming these 3 episodes, I mean, not to say anything against the Legends, but I think all of them, that main team, and then plus Constantine, that would just, I feel, on the company to try and jam all that into 3 episodes and give everyone a fair amount of screen time.
That's great. You brought up Constantine, and it just reminds me of how stupid NBC was for canceling an amazing show.
I agree.
Maybe it didn't have the ratings of some of their other shows, but NBC is horrible for that. I hate watching any show that starts out on NBC because it gets canceled before it gets a chance to get any good. They did the same thing to Wonder Woman many, many years ago, many other shows. I would just get off on a whole separate rant, and we're not going to do that because we're actually going to leave the DC universe. As we move into movies, we finally move into Marvel. Hey, Marvel is making an appearance today. What do we have in Marvel today, Jake?
Let's see. For the first topic in Marvel, we have the surprise introduction of the X-Men Dark Phoenix trailer, which I'm going to go ahead and say right now, there was a lot of debate as to whether or not this movie was still happening because of the Disney Fox deal that was still going on. There was a rumor that Deadpool 2 was going to be the last Fox X-Men movie that we saw, but apparently Dark Phoenix as well as New Mutants, we'll rant about that another day, we could go on about that forever, are going to be the last movies to be in this Fox X-Men universe. Now, just giving my overall thoughts on it, well, like I said with the Elseworlds crossover, there are parts of it that have me excited, but parts that have me a little skeptical.
If a movie was a trailer, Dark Phoenix looks awesome. The trailer is amazing. The trailer reminds me of Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman is, for most of our wrestling people that are listening, they'll understand. Paul Heyman was perfect at accentuating someone's positives and hiding their negatives. And that's exactly what the Dark Phoenix trailer looks like. I'm worried that it's all the high points in the movie and that the rest of it is going to... Because, the trailer for X-Men Apocalypse, the first trailer was kind of exciting. And then we had to watch, an hour and a half long turd being laid on a television screen.
And you had even had that final trailer before the movie came out showing Wolverine at the very end, which got everybody going nuts.
Exactly.
And I I sat down in front of the movie looking forward to it because I was excited that they were finally doing Apocalypse. At the end of it, you and I looked at each other and we were like, yeah, that just happened.
Exactly. It does look exciting. Everyone go out of their way to make sure they watch the trailer. It was, there's so much that can be expanded upon, but until we get a little bit more information, we're just going to leave it up in the air for now.
And I'm going to plug this because it's my channel and I can. I actually have a reaction to the Dark Phoenix trailer up on YouTube that you can check out anytime you like.
Exactly. YouTube.com/TheFakeJake. Look in the React section. You'll be able to see the reaction to Captain Marvel, Dark Phoenix, and many more coming in there. Our next movie of the week, we have a BumbleBee. And BumbleBee actually got me excited. Because it's the first time I've been excited about a Transformers movie since the original animated Transformers movie. The Bumblebee trailer, as you started watching it, you start seeing G1 designs. G1 meaning Generation
awesome.
1. Once you see him as a Volkswagen, once you see there's an original Starscream in this.
There is. I lost it.
I fangirl screamed, ah! It was just hilarious because once I saw it, I'm a huge Starscream fan. Everybody else can throw stuff at me if you want to. It doesn't matter. Starscream was the only one that had enough guts to constantly challenge Megatron. So
he was that crazy, and no one else screwed with Starscream because of that.
Exactly. I also love how John Cena is the bad guy in the movie. You can see up front. I was worried they were going to try and plug him into a good guy role, and John Cena kind of fits into our wrestling a little bit. But I was worried when they brought him in. I was like, oh no, how are they going to make him like the good guy soldier? They've already done that. No, they're making him the bad guy soldier. So it's going to be fun. Everybody's going to get to boo him for real again. But as we're talking about Bumblebee, what did we do last week, Jake?
We saw Transformers, the movie 1986 in the theater. The first time for both of us, actually, because Clam actually missed it because of different reasons. But this is the first time that either of us have actually got to see it in the theater, and it was just an amazing experience to see, just the beauty of the story in this movie. And there were so many moments that it locked you in right from the start and right until the credits started rolling, and even past when the credits started rolling, because there were a lot of behind the scenes moments to where can you remind me of the musician's
That's right.
name?
Anybody that stayed after the credits, they had not Stan Lee, but Stan Bush. He was the one that did the songs You Got the Touch and the other song Dare. Yes, Dare. The other song at the beginning when we first meet Hot Rod. So it talked about, they had a little, how he made the songs, what he was thinking about when he made the songs. They had this little extra video at the end, which was really cool. One thing they didn't have was whenever the movie came out on VHS, there was a little blurb that said Optimus Prime will return, because all the kiddies were upset all over America. Because so many people were so upset whenever Optimus died that they had to put that into the tape whenever it released. But that was not here in the movie. So I looked for it. It wasn't there. I was going to snap the shot, but it wasn't. And one of the other things that I just loved watching it, it was fun. People were cheering. It was a great experience. I hate for anyone that missed it. For everyone that watched it, it was awesome. For all of you purists, yes, they left the 4-letter word in there. And no, it didn't start with an F. But it was still in there, so that was kind of cool.
That's a really discreet and subtle way to mention that. Just one of the things that really got people's hooked in that haven't seen the movie before. Within, I don't want to spoil too much, in case, you guys.
Anybody that's listening to this, hey, this movie has been a DVD for as long as DVDs have been around.
What am I talking about? Yeah, exactly. I can go.
We're not spoiling it for anybody. If they're listening to this, they've probably already seen it.
It got me in the first 5 minutes, because you saw so many beloved beloved and fan favorite characters being killed left, right, and center in the first 5 minutes in this whole movie. You have to recollect yourself after almost every 5 minutes because it's just so good. The storytelling was great. Just the acting, the emotional scenes when it needed to get serious, it got serious. When there was a stretch break for humor, it showed. And I just feel that each character was in character the way that they were in the animated show, even if them being in character meant them doing something stupid, like Hot Rod, for example. It still worked, and it played true to who these characters are, down to their, well, I don't want to say core machinery. And it was just a great movie to watch. And I gotta be honest, you said that before, because I hadn't actually seen this on like VHS or DVD before. When I heard this was coming, I just wanted this to be a fresh experience for me. But you had seen the movie on DVD and VHS beforehand, and you were telling me that it was one of like your all-time favorite movies that you've ever seen. And I honestly have to second that statement because it was just amazing. You could see this from every scene and what was happening at the end, the total amount of care that was put into the movie and how much all the people working behind it truly had a passion for what they were doing.
Definitely. While we're on our retro trip here, going back to the 80s, that brings us into our game section.
Nice
Mega Man
segue.
11 is coming out, so a nice trip back to the 80s. Mega Man 11 looks, honestly, it looks like an 80s game put on a PS4, on an Xbox One. I think it's running, I know it's running on PS4. I think it's on Xbox One and Steam also. I'm not sure if it was on Twitch. Jake, you can let me know if it was. But everything I saw on it is very smooth. It looked like an old school Mega Man game with some nice polish. Just looked like it'd be fun to play. And then we also have the Elder Scrolls 6. I'm going to have to let Jacob take this one because I didn't look at this. Jake, go ahead and take this over.
Okay, so you guys that are fans of the Elder Scrolls series, which honestly all it would take is for you to play the fifth Elder Scrolls game, Skyrim, because you'd be hard pushed to find anyone else who's played a game other than that. So anyway, back when it was released in 2011, that's actually coming up on its 7th year anniversary because it was released in November. So back when it was released and they got through all of the story expansions and everything like that, people were wondering. They were left in the dark for almost 7 years until E3 2018, when Bethesda's game conference actually revealed a little teaser trailer for The Elder Scrolls 6. And Todd Howard, who is the Bethesda Studios director, I want to go ahead and say what little we do know about the game. Let me just see the article here. Now, no one knows where this game is yet set because you've seen in the other titles, it kind of gives it away where it was being set. You have Oblivion, which tells you that it's going to be there. You have Morrowind, you have Skyrim, but you don't know where this is yet set, although there is apparently a lot of debate going on right now because there was a recent trademark that was put in, and it was rumored to be titled Redfall. That was what the trademark was titled. So people were thinking that the Elder Scrolls 6 is actually going to be, the subtitle is going to be Redfall, which the way that you would have to make that work is you have these a certain race of people called Red Guards who are native to a province. Is that the right word? Yeah, province called Hammerfell. So it kind of mixes the two words. And from what it looks like in the little teaser trailer, it looks like parts of Hammerfell and parts of High Rock, who are, for you people out there that know Elder Scrolls, is obviously where the Bratons reside. So we don't know a whole lot about the game yet, but it actually, little is known about it, but they've put out some of as many details as they can. I'm probably going to butcher this. Eurogamer actually caught up with Howard at a conference, and I said they don't know a lot. They said it's going to be based in a while ago, so it's probably a prequel
A
to the
while
fifth
ago.
game.
Damn, that's hilarious.
Yeah, and it's just going to be funny because they've never really done. All the games that they've had have been set in a certain era, and then you had Skyrim, which launched forward Lord knows how many years. So if this is going to go back into that, back into where the previous games were set, I don't really know how that's going to work for continuity's sake, but we'll just have to see what happens. Todd Howard has said that this game is meant to arrive on next-gen consoles. The release date is not confirmed at this time, and it's likely actually that Bethesda, they won't look to dedicate any massive amount of resources to the game until one of their other projects called Starfield has shipped. Now,
yeah, they better go ahead and dump what they can into it, because guess what? I know Bethesda because of Skyrim, and I don't play the game. So they better hope that it's keying off of Skyrim, and they better capitalize off of some of that if they really want this to take off the same way they've gone. If they really count on the people that were there before, the people that were there before didn't bring it to the level that Skyrim got it to. So they better be catering to that audience also. So I'll put that in there. But guys, we're getting ready to wrap up today. I want to thank you all for joining us. We'll be back next week with another episode of Four Corners Podcast. If you like what you heard, please tell your friends about the show. We're found on Google, Apple, Stitcher, and YouTube later on in the week. Jake, where can everybody find you at online?
Let's see. You can find me at YouTube at youtube.com/TheFakeJake, Facebook at Facebook.com/TheFakeJake, Twitter at TheFakeJake2, Twitch at Twitch.tv/TheFakeJake1. Yes, I know this is a lot to go through, but as I've said before, marketing is the biggest pain in the butt. Or if you don't want to go to any of these separate platforms, you can just go to my website at www.thefakejake.com. You can get easy access to all the platforms there.
Great. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Next weekend, Venom comes out. Hopefully, everyone is going out to take a look at it. We're going to have a review. We'll have one up on YouTube. We'll have a reaction video for it, but we'll also have a review here on the show. We're going to do it Sunday or Monday, so that'll give everybody a chance to watch it. We'll have maybe a little spoiler in there, but we'll give you a warning about it just to let you know. Jake, is there anything else you'd like to tell everybody here today?
I think that is probably going to wrap it up nicely. And a clamshell. I stole your joke again. That's never getting old.
Exactly. Thank you all, true believers. Enough said.